Welcome everybody to the Cole and Tabor podcast. I'm co-host Cole. That's co-host Tabor. Wait, I wonder if I'm pointing to the correct side of the screen.
For me, you are, yeah.
Cool. We'll go with that. Anyway, let's talk about some movies. We got 2 on the table this week. This episode, rather.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Let's start with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll take probably most of the episode.
Yeah, because it's a thinker. You really gotta, you gotta think about it.
Yeah. I mean, Golden Freddy, there's layers, you know?
Yeah, where? There was no, do you mean he was like dead in the background?
Yeah. Well, no, he shows up also, right? He like goes in the cab.
Oh, yeah, you're right. How's your Five Nights at Freddy lore before this?
Nothing. I didn't know that. I didn't know this franchise existed until I saw the trailer for the movie. And then
you went on a video game binge and you played all of them.
No, I should have, because it actually seems interesting. But what I did instead was I put on as background entertainment a video from
Game
the film
theory?
theorists. Yeah, game theorists or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was someone had compiled all of their videos on Five Nights at Freddy's into like an hour and a half thing.
Oh, so you just got a crash course.
Yeah, and I just kind of watched it in the background. Wasn't truly paying attention, but like there was some like interesting and creepy stuff in there that made me want to get into it.
Just know that none of that is in the games. You have to dig for all of that.
Gotcha.
It's all subtext and things you have to digitally enhance.
Yeah, which is par for that YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What about you? What's been your
feelings on it? Oh, yeah.
Awareness of it.
Dude, it's embarrassing. I've seen a lot of stuff on it.
Cool.
Yeah. I know up until a couple of years ago, probably. Because I used to watch the game theory a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like a cool world. But, I mean, all that is apart from the movie. What'd you think of the movie?
I don't know, man. It's a little wonky and crazy. The robots are cool. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
I found out that those are practical. I haven't seen any behind the scenes footage, but I read a thing that said Jim Henson's studio did it.
Oh, yeah. I think I actually might have seen that in the credits.
Yeah.
That's cool. They looked really good.
Yeah, they did. And all the, like, you know, knowing all the stuff about the things for this video game, if Matt Pat is right about any of it, it did help a little bit.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe it would be really confusing if you didn't know what any of this was.
Totally. Yeah, I think you're right. The even the passive amount of information I absorbed just having it on in the background was helpful. Came in handy.
Yeah. I just couldn't imagine not knowing anything and then trying to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the movie like had some strengths that made me want for it to to be better than it was.
Yeah.
And most of that was in the front half. Like, I mean, there were weird things throughout that were like, I'm not buying this. But, you know, like Josh Hutcherson's performance was good. The setup of like him and his sister and the babysitter, and then like us learning about why he's doing this thing in his dreams and stuff. I feel like all of that was really good and really well told. Nice and creepy. And it just kind of like when it came down to it, when it's like, okay, now let's execute after the first killings, after we see them like in the CCTV footage moving around, like looking at the camera and putting the cupcake guy in the vents, and like after all that, the rest of the execution of the like, possessed animatronics and the filling in of backstory was very lackluster. Didn't love it.
Yeah, it was kind of. Well, once you get to like the twist, it's a little convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole character doesn't really make sense to me.
Which one?
The daughter.
Yeah, same.
Because like if
Totally.
she's a cop, how is she always here in like just like minor stuff? Like her being a cop doesn't actually matter, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I liked the ending. I don't want to talk about the ending. Yeah.
Okay.
I think because the movie, it does move with like a pretty cool pace, like you said early on. But then, yeah, when it's constantly trying to bring in like the nights that they have to go through, like I feel like that was just a little too slow, and I don't know.
Yeah, they had a hard time like filling it out in a way that felt important at all.
Yeah, it just kind of happened, and then but they weren't really scary until like maybe the third or fourth night, but then only for a couple of minutes, because then they become good guys.
Right. Yeah.
Which was a little crazy.
It was. I was watching. I actually watched it twice because I watched it the night it dropped on Peacock, and then I went and watched it in theaters the next day with a friend. And anyway, we were sitting there watching it, and then when they're getting to that sequence, like after they've come alive and everyone's well aware of them and everything, they're like building a fort with chairs and stuff with the kid.
Yeah.
My friend was just like, "This is weird." And I was like, "Yeah, this doesn't play super well. Like,
No,
I guess it's supposed to be fun, but."
I thought it was interesting. Like I thought that's cool that they were just like completely threw off expectations there.
Sure, yeah, a non-threat for the time being.
They are kids in animatronics, so it makes sense that they would want to hang out, I guess, with other kids.
Yeah, but then and they like do their best to explain it, but like then the contrast is, but they're also the same kids that are like happy to butcher people. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, happy to butcher people because they're being mind controlled,
right,
by the big bad, who is there but also not always there.
Yeah.
And they can make like dream ghost deals on like bringing back like reincarnated memories of family members and
oh yeah yeah, that was all very weird too.
Yeah,
it's like what's the extent of the power of these entities?
Of these,
that was hard to gauge.
These children ghost animatronic guys. Was it scary? I don't know if it was scary.
No, it had the makings of something that was like creepy enough to be scary. But it kind of stopped with the creepy and didn't end up being scary, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like I thought all the stuff, whenever you have a story that surrounds like a person who's predating upon and killing children, like that's an age-old creepy story, and it's always very effective. Yes. And so the whole, that being kind of the canvas, made a lot of the movie feel very creepy, like especially in his dream sequences and stuff.
Yeah. But then when it came to the actual animatronics, I just don't know if it was scary.
Right.
Almost ever.
I think the best moment of it for me, like the one that was the closest to being scary for me, was that part where they put the cupcake guy in the vents and then they look up at the security camera and the guy just knows what's about to happen. That was good.
Yeah. It was pretty silly.
Yeah.
I do think Yeah, the main conflict with the mother or the aunt who wants the money, which
Oh
is
yeah,
kind of silly. When they were in the diner and they're talking in front of the lawyer and the lawyer's trying to get
yeah,
away.
yeah. That was fun. That was like funner than I thought it would be. It had more goofiness going on.
Yeah, the movie doesn't take itself too seriously.
Hmm. Yeah. What was the cop lady's name?
No idea.
So no idea when she was.
Uh-huh.
What you were saying earlier about like, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it rang so true. Vanessa. Yeah. That basically like when we don't know about her, when she's just a character that just like enters from nowhere, when we don't know about her, almost nothing she's doing makes any sense. It's like, what's going on? Like, why isn't this so weird for him that he goes and calls the cops on her? You know what I mean? Like this is everything about it's weird. And then when we do know about her, like when we like learn more about her, like
Yeah.
it doesn't help. Like you're saying, it doesn't. Her character doesn't like make sense
No,
to the
not
viewer.
anymore.
I don't think. It's a weird one. I think the story could have done with a different character in that slot.
I mean, I think it is accurate to the games. I think like
Okay.
that character actually exists. The daughter to
Matthew Lillard.
yeah, to Michael Afton.
Right.
So, and I think it is a cop or a security guard or something in the other game. So it makes like canonical sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And anything I could be saying could also be wrong. So please don't hurt me. But yeah, where was it going? But yeah, she didn't work after because like why wouldn't she say anything? She's being way too cryptic but also trying to be really helpful.
Yeah.
But it's like does she really care about her dad? Like does the family actually matter here, or is it we're supposed to think it matters?
Right. Yeah. None
It
of that
doesn't
was
sell
very
it.
clear at all.
It
No.
doesn't sell it. But yeah, but then the good part of the movie is Matthew Lillard. I like
Yeah.
the reveal. He does the scream knife wipe.
Right. Yeah. That all looked very cool. The bunny suit and everything was
Yeah.
creepy with the slightly glowing eyes and him holding the knife and his wacky teeth and
And then
yeah, Matthew Lillard was great.
the spring trap that digs into him.
Yeah.
But then he's not really dead. He's just kind of bleeding out.
Right. Yeah, which I'm sure they'll try to follow it up, like try to do a sequel.
I think
We'll
that's how
see,
the other
I
games
guess.
work. Is it's
Yeah.
all he comes back and a lot of the time.
That's what I understand. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, he was great. I liked him when he was the undercover character, where he's just like this kind of like unassuming like office personality.
yeah.
And then
when it was
as-
just a cameo, or you thought it would just be a cameo.
Yep. And then
He-
as the bad guy, he made a lot of sense too.
He just acted really suspicious. Why does this guy who kills children and also builds animatronics work as someone who hires security guards for
Right.
other places, but also his place?
Right. It's like, did he get that job literally just so that he could handpick every person that gets the job to watch Freddy Fazbear's?
Yeah.
Like maybe actually.
Is
But
there,
it's like really out of the way, you know?
watching it a second time, when he offers him the job the first time, is there anything that makes him switch? Like, does Josh Hutcherson talk about his sister or something, and then he's like,
Oh,
does that happen?
it's it's when he looks at his like his one sheet, you know,
Uh-huh.
and he sees his last name. He goes, I can't remember. He says his first name, like let's say Johnny. I don't remember what his name is. It's like Johnny, and like when he sees the last name, he kind of like processes it, and I think he like looks him in the face right after that, and it's like he's realizing this is the older brother of one of his victims,
Oh.
and so he's like, maybe I put this guy in a place where I can kill him too.
I see.
I only caught that the second time watching it, though.
Well, yeah, that seems like a second time.
Totally.
Catch a Maru. That's why you
Yeah.
rewatch it and then never watch it again.
Yeah.
Would you ever watch it again? Seeing it?
I probably would.
Okay.
It's one I could easily imagine throwing on as like a movie night that doesn't matter kind of thing, where a movie's just playing and not everyone's watching it.
Yeah, it feels like the ultimate background movie.
Yeah.
I watched Cobweb, which is a good horror movie.
Cobweb.
Yeah, we watched it the day before Halloween, and it was wild.
Interesting. I haven't heard of this. What is it?
Yeah. I would just watch the trailer because I'm realizing now there's not a way that I could explain it and still keep the integrity of it.
Okay. Are you down to let me watch the trailer right now?
Yeah, go for it, dog.
Cool. Let's see.
Let's see you get spooked.
It's his mom doing it, for sure.
It's his mom. Doing what?
Probably abusing him. But definitely knocking on his wall at night. Oh, whoa, there's a specter of his mom or something. Oh, that was creepy. Ooh.
Yeah, the part where she's running out of the room.
Yeah.
That made us want to watch the movie.
Oh, this is Homelander. That's who that guy is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's pretty good.
Both of his parents are evil. What is going on? What the heck?
It's even crazier. Dude, you just watch it. I don't think the trailer really does the twists and the turns justice.
Okay. I'm creeped out already, dude. Okay. I'm going to make a guess here.
Mm-hmm.
The kid just actually does have schizophrenia or something. Yeah?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you, or are you looking for the answer?
I'm going to watch that one, so I better not.
Yeah, just watch it.
Cool.
Get back to me.
Yeah. I have not heard of that. That looks great.
Yeah, it's just on Hulu.
Cool.
But yeah, that movie, there was an actual scary movie that came out, and FNAF just wasn't. I think that's the disappointing thing about it, is it just wasn't. I don't know what it could have been. And that's the
but
tough
it wasn't
thing.
what it could have. Yeah.
A game where the only premise is staying in a place for 5 nights. I don't know how you make that interesting.
Yeah. It was a mild movie for sure. With some good bones, but
Some good bones and all.
yeah.
Did you ever watch that movie?
I haven't, no.
Oh, it's pretty weird.
That was the Timothy one?
Timothy Chalamet and the guy who directed his other movie. One of his other movies.
Okay.
Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, okay.
And also Suspiria.
Oh, which I did not see.
Suspiria is crazy. I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name.
Actually, I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name either. But yeah, I've heard that about Suspirian.
Yeah. That and the original are crazy, bro. Like crazy.
Is it too much for me, you think?
The original maybe not.
Okay.
Just because it's older. The newer one, it gets very out there.
They go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe not the new one.
Okay.
Unless you're just looking
Good
to get itchy. You're just looking to dive in.
Good to know.
Thought it could help.
Oh, other scary movie that I did watch on Halloween was the 2015 remake of Poltergeist, which I've
Cool.
never seen the original or this one until now. And it's another one where I would say, like, it's not what it could have been,
Yeah.
maybe, but did have some good pieces to it. Like,
Did you like the original too?
I actually never saw the original.
Ah.
Yeah. Other than, like, I don't know, I've seen, like,
The parts.
yeah, like moments from the ending with the portal. I've seen the little girl, like, by the TV and all that. But
And the clown pulling the kid under the bed.
I haven't seen that, but someone was telling me, they're like, so that scene was, like, really creepy in this one. And someone was like, it's even creepier in the original. It's like, ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
I think I should watch it now.
Yeah, Poltergeist is good. It's a good one.
Cool.
We also watched throughout the month. We watched both X and Pearl again. The
I don't know either of
A24
those.
Mia Goth movies. Ty West.
Oh, right. So, okay, yeah. Pearl was what? A prequel? Sequel?
Prequel to X.
Prequel. Okay. Right. Yeah, I haven't seen those. How are they?
They're good. They're
Cool.
I mean, I like them a lot, but they're weird.
Yeah, yeah. Right on. You know what? A24 movie I never got around to, but was interested in was it called Lamb?
Lamb's fucking weird. It's
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
All right.
It's really slow.
Okay. Like Lighthouse slow?
Probably slower.
Okay.
I think
Alright.
it's pretty good though. I don't know. It's
Cool.
weird.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a guess at that one as well.
Okay, take a guess. Let's hear it.
Dude definitely screwed a goat, right?
Do you want me to tell you?
Should I just watch that one too?
Yeah, you should. I don't remember. Yeah, it's not easy to guess.
Okay. Okay.
But it's dude, that's another one. Oh, I want to rewatch that one. Is this hard to get a hold of? Do you know what it's on?
I don't.
Fuck.
But almost anything you can at least rent on Amazon these days.
True. You can buy it through the A24 website, but it's like $40 for a Blu-ray.
Oh, holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, because they do special editions for all the stuff that they do special editions for.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. What did FNAF, dude? 10 out of 10 or what?
I'll say
Of the video game movies that have come out this year, where does this rank?
I don't remember what other ones have come out this year, so that's tough. Do you remember?
I could have sworn we talked about one. Gran Turismo.
Oh, yeah.
Where does this rank in the Gran Turismo scale?
You mean like 0 to Gran Turismo? Like is Gran Turismo a 10? Okay. Then FNAF is like a 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's just to get as good as Gran Turismo, not like a 10 out of 10 video game movie.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I feel like it's like it's a finely made movie, and I like the twists, and I like the subversions a little bit, and the dream sequences aren't that bad.
Yeah.
They get around like having to show like physical contact with the things by doing a lot of the dream sequencey stuff.
True.
Which
Yeah.
seems like a cop out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was all right. I'd say
Yeah.
it's a 5 in relation to Gran Turismo.
Cool. Yeah, I think I agree. 5 out of Gran Turismo.
Yeah, dude. And then the real reason we came here.
Yep.
I only saw Killer of the Flower Moon once.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was not gonna be able to squeeze it in a second time.
Yeah. maybe when it comes on Apple TV Plus, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it a watch at home. Hey, what do you got for that one, dude?
It's a lot more intense, I'd say.
For sure.
It's definitely a good double feature with FNAF. That's what I would say.
No.
FNAF, Five Nights of the Flower Moon.
Yep. There's our episode title.
Five Nights of the Flower Moon. There we go. There we go. Where do you start? I mean, because the movie opens up and it's just an explanation of the of what is that opening scene where they're all like sitting around in the circle and they're talking about the white man.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's like, my guess is that is the state of the Osage Nation
before oil.
Right before they discover oil. Yeah.
Okay, and then they discover the oil, and they have that beautiful shot of it shooting into the air and them running around and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Black gold.
Black gold.
And then we kind of skip forward, and it's like they're in a bunch of innovations, and they have a society. I'm sorry.
Like a very European society.
Yeah. Like it, and then it also introduces like the picture taking motif.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I don't completely understand. Maybe it's just how pictures were taken and like a way to keep records.
Sure. Yeah. Which definitely, like, I think it was something I enjoyed, like using, like, just like recreations of a moment from that time and place to kind of like show us what was going on.
Yeah, but they were also all very still, like very because photos today they're very fluid, and I feel like in that it just kind of flat all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I won't. Yeah, and then it introduces Ernest. And also the fact that the Osage people just get funds from the government, or no, from the who?
It's like from the oil shares. Like,
yeah,
the best I could make sense of it with my like limited understanding of economy of any sort was that because it was found on land that the government shoved the Osage onto, it was kind of like a no take backs kind of thing. It's like, no, this is Osage land, so the oil on it is Osage oil, and so they kind of had no choice but to like honor that. And so the Osage Nation basically just did like an equal share kind of thing where like everyone had equal rights to the money that came from the oil so long as they were part of the Osage Nation by blood.
Okay.
Or next of kin. And it seemed like the whole like who's your guardian thing was like a way that the government got a foothold into it anyway, even though it was like they had no right to it. It was like they established a system, I suppose, whereby if they could label anyone, evaluate and deem anyone as like unfit to make their own financial decisions, they could establish some guardian over them, some person with some sort of legal authority over their finances, and it was like a white person. And so I'm sure they probably deemed as many people as they could like unfit or what did they, incompetent, was that what they called them? They had a word for it.
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway. That's what it seemed like the setup was like all the Osage have
money,
a
loads
right
and
to
loads
this
of
money.
money.
And then white people, like including government systems, were like getting their fingers into it in funky ways.
Yeah. And then we just kind of focus on this one of King and Ernest.
Yeah.
And specifically this one family, Molly's family.
Right. How long ago did you watch it?
When it came out, like the day or two after.
Same. So it's been a while. But just off the top, before we get into any nitty gritty, what was your overall how would you rate it? What was your takeaway? Like, thoughts?
In the grand scheme of Scorsese, I think it's as good as his most recent stuff, but maybe not as my favorite as some of the more classic stuff.
Okay.
Like, I think this, in a lot of ways, is very similar to The Irishman for me, where it feels really long and not always completely necessary to be that long. And they also have very similar main characters, like weak main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't. So pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Maybe like a 4. Or I'm sorry, if we're going off a scale of 5, I would say like a 4, 4.5.
Okay, what about 0 to Gran Turismo?
0 to Gran Turismo, I'd say it's probably 6 Gran Turismos.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I haven't seen I never saw Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. There are a number of other Scorsese movies I'm sure I haven't seen. So I can't compare it to everything on his roster, but it might be the thing of his that I have liked the most out of what I've seen.
Okay.
But I agree it was way too long. Yeah. I felt about it how I felt about Oppenheimer, where I'm like, the last 40 minutes, I could have done without.
Yeah, no, the last 40 minutes of this movie is the trial, right? They both end in trials, which is crazy.
That's true, huh?
No, I think it needed the trial. I don't know. It does stretch out. Like, it starts just stretching everything a little too long and holding on scenes for too long.
Yeah.
In that whole switcheroo that Ernest did, where it was like, I'm gonna rat on him, and then Brendan Fraser is like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, I'm not gonna rat on him anymore, and then it's just like that. It's weird.
It is.
It adds I guess it's maybe accurate to the story, and it shows Ernest's character and how weak and and how compliant he is. And then so maybe it is necessary, but it just feels like too much.
I think they should have done one of two things with it, because for as long as they went, I feel like they did still stop in the middle of the proceedings and then just this is what happened to this person. This is what happened. So I think they should have either stopped before getting into all of it instead of leaving it unfinished, or have gotten to the end of all of it much quicker. See us through the whole trial, but cut it in half,
That'd be interesting. I don't know, I thought this is hard with a movie that long to remember everything that happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you have to watch it 10 times. But it's too long to even watch 2 times.
I do think that... Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full.
You're good.
I do think that even with it being too long and going far past the mark, in my opinion, I really, really liked it. I think I loved this movie.
Have you seen The Irishman? Mm-hmm. What do you think of it compared to
that? That one I just liked. I thought this was much better than The Irishman.
Okay.
Part of it was... Sorry, go for it.
I was going to say, I think... I like the the setting for this one a lot more. How how it wasn't like it was kind of just another mob movie, but
Sure.
separated from it enough.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the pacing in this one was a lot better. They didn't have, which it's like a genius scene at the end of The Irishman where it's like when Jimmy Hoffa actually gets killed,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote. But that's like 30 minutes long and it goes on forever.
Right. Yeah.
And in this movie, didn't have that. It didn't have like a part that like slowed down to a halt when you just had to watch it play out.
Yeah, very true.
Which is not, I don't know, it's not really a good or a bad thing for either of them. Because they're different. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I agree. I think that the setting was like a huge deal in this one. Like it. I don't know. It was just a very well crafted, immersive setting, and I think it was more enjoyable than just going to 1960s Detroit or wherever the heck The Irishman took place. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then
Boston,
was that it?
I don't know.
Wherever the friggin' Union stuff was popping off. Anyway, the other thing though was just seeing Leo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro act across from each other for as much screen time as they had together, like mesmerizing. Like they could have been talking about Pokemon cards and it still would have been like a fascinating thing to watch. Like they're just so good.
And everyone in this movie was like on top of it as far as performances.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they didn't like try to, I don't know if they de-aged him at all. I didn't see it, but Robert De Niro just kind of, he was putting it all on. He was playing the Joe Pesci character, but there was so much to like the things that he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he was intimidating.
Yep. And like I think it was supposed to be obvious to the viewer at a point sooner in the movie than when I realized it that they were the ones doing everything. Like I don't think I realized it until they were literally spelling it out right in front of me. Like the most I had was I was like, man, Robert De Niro's character, he's just like too good, too fatherly, seems too nice, like he's gonna have a hand in it somehow. Like I definitely didn't think that like they all were in on it and he was like this kingpin or whatever. Like I thought he'd be like maybe financially involved or something, but like he was just sneakily.
Well, he plays that very well. That trying to always be like when there's a tragedy, he's there showing support, and it made like when the first sister's dying, and he's like doing that prayer over her, and like that's one of the moments before there's some shenanigans going on because he's already had that conversation with Ernest about falling in love. Right. And getting the money that way.
Yeah.
So you do still believe when does, and then he's like there for everything else too. Like as soon as something happens, he's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the scene where I think it's the scene where was when Ernest was reporting to King in the billiards hall. And King was like strategizing with him and like, okay, go out and do this. Yeah. Do that.
Oh, yeah, when they were literally hiring the people to bomb the final sister.
Is that what was going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was they first tried to hire the dude, and then Ernest was like, but I'll give you my vehicle, you just have to steal my vehicle.
Right. It was at that time, and when he's talking to that dude, I was just like, is he just like fishing to get this guy to admit something, or is he really doing this? And I was like, you're kidding. Like I just thought there's no way he was in on it until they'll just set it out right.
I think he was more separated from it until that point. Because I don't think he really knew what was happening to Anna, or at least it was so subtle then that I didn't really realize. Like, you knew something happened, and you knew that Byron probably did something, but it wasn't clear Ernest's part in it all at that point.
Okay.
And when that guy during the trial is talking about Kelsey Morrison was talking about killing Anna, holy shit, that was hard.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
Like, no emotion, no feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it was any other thing.
Yeah. It made me want to learn about that guy in real life, you know?
And then when they cut back to Byron, and it's like, they ask him, like, and did Byron go back home that night? And then it turns out he did, and Molly gives him a pillow just after killing her sister.
Right, man. Yikes.
It's a very powerful movie.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. The guy that Robert De Niro is playing.
Mm-hmm. King.
Saw some pictures of the guy.
Yeah.
From real life. And I was like, this guy, like, okay, this is weird, but seeing pictures of him, I feel like made me understand Robert De Niro's portrayal even better.
Okay.
Because it was like, clearly, I'm sure Robert De Niro did research on the person, tried to get to know his character a little bit, but it was like when I could see just like, I guess, how much he looked like him in terms of like visage, like countenance, like giving off the right air or whatever, like even just in a still frame or a few still frames of this guy from back in the day. I felt like I knew the person better because of what I had seen Robert De Niro do. And I felt like I understood Robert De Niro's portrayal better because I've now seen the real guy. And it was, and it's not like he's a dead ringer for him by look, but it was like, oh, I get this. I see this sneaky, awful snake of a person. Like, I understand him a little bit. Like, I feel like I have some insight, because of what was just a very good artistic portrayal.
For sure. I mean, the way he plays like that subtle anger or that just like manipulation and like the small things that he says and he does, and like it's crazy. It
is, and Robert De Niro nails it. And then you just think about the fact that this guy is a real person who did all these awful things to people, like in his in his own community, so to speak. I mean, he moved there as an adult, but it's like in his own community. People that, and you know, like you were saying, he's saying that prayer over the girl in her language. Like,
he made this entire community trust him, and then has been stabbing them in the back the entire time because he was talked about like how he donated to like the schools and like just around town to open up things. It's when he's trying to convince Ernest that he's not going to be in any trouble.
Right.
When he says it'll just pass over, they'll forget.
Right.
I built that town. I'm a part of that. Whatever he says.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's so interesting. I think, especially when I think about the fact that he like took the time to learn their language. Mm-hmm. It's like,
Ernest did too.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Which, I mean, he married in, so it was like, you're gonna learn a thing or two. But I feel like King didn't necessarily have to, but doing so is like what made him. And it's just interesting because you tend to think like, who goes out and learns someone else's language? You tend to think a person who is going to empathize, appreciate, be with those people. Turns out that so does a person who wants to appear to be doing all those things so that he can then steal from them and plunder and murder, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Take advantage at every turn.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's asking about the insurance money
Right.
for
Yeah.
the guy that old
Henry.
that got killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That was pretty like sickening and transparent.
ruthless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All about money, all about greed.
All the time.
I was thinking, Ernest. He has a similar character to John David Washington in The Creator.
Huh. Interesting.
How they both
Yeah.
marry in, or they both marry a woman, but then like try to kill their family in like the most simplest
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah. But true.
And I thought about it, like comparing the two on like why The Creator doesn't work for me,
Uh-huh.
which we discussed at length.
Yeah.
And I think why it works here is because the movie never really believes the idea of him loving her, or at least there's always just enough doubt in either direction until
Right.
it starts bearing. He starts like doing the worst things possible.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's so,
Yeah. That's got to be part of it. And I don't know what the other parts are.
like
But
we
you're
actually
100%
see
right.
their relationship early on and then
Yeah.
later on, and you see like the smaller moments where they actually interact, and
True. Yeah.
and you see like Ernest caring for Molly, and not all of that can be faked.
Right.
I think that's one of the big parts.
Yeah, really sells it. Like you just watch their relationship build, and it's one of those things where like I don't think you realize how much time is passing in the movie until occasionally you get like a little benchmark, like oh now they have a kid, like oh, and then they say something about like oh we've been together 5 years or whatever, like these little like moments that it's just weird because it's like believable, like time passes right out from under you like that in real life. So you're spending long enough with these characters for that feeling to be believable. It's like, oh yeah, it has been a few years, even though you don't have a way of measuring it until they make mention of little things here and there.
Yeah, until you realize they're having like a second kid or a third kid.
Right.
Oh, dude, and sucks for all those kids too.
Yeah.
Like from the first marriage with the first sister that dies, Minnie.
Yeah. Right.
Or is it Retta? Oh, dude, I can't remember. Anyways, the first sister that dies, and then like that kid just kind of disappears.
Right.
And then that guy ends up dating and potentially marrying her other sister.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he kind of turns like because at first, like I wasn't sure if he was complicit in Minnie dying.
Right. And this is all prior to us realizing everything about Ernest, right?
Yeah. Well, prior to realizing that the diabetes is, being treated with poison instead of insulin.
Right.
But I do think early enough on, it was the same thing. I just don't know if he was as complicit as Ernest was.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting because it was real easy to see him as like the bad guy who's clearly just taking advantage of these like head rights.
Yeah.
By marrying like the next sister after his wife passes, and he's like, "Oh, well, she was a comfort to me." He's like, "Yeah, I'll bet."
Yeah.
And Leo DiCaprio takes a dislike, or Ernest takes a disliking to him, and up to this point, you're still like pretty much fully with Ernest, and so it's like easy to dislike the guy. But then, yeah, when you realize that
the reason Ernest wants him dead is because he's looking into how Anna died.
Yeah. and Ernest is out there killing these people
Yeah.
anyway. It's like
And at that point, Ernest knows what happened. Oh, dude, there's just so much. There's so much, like, just isn't being said early on.
And whatever the other guy is guilty of in terms of any manipulation or whatever, like, just falls by the wayside, pales completely in comparison to everything that King's family is doing.
The thing that makes me unsure on whether he knew is because as soon as she dies, and then Ernest is in the house, and then he kicks Ernest out. Do you remember that?
Right, yeah, that's right.
And that was like the
funeral,
first,
right?
Yeah, it was like the first hint of something being off or something being wrong.
Right.
Well, not the first. The first hint is when they're in the car saying you should marry that girl for her money.
Right, yeah. True that.
And then they have that conversation, the women talking about whether he's a snake or a coyote or a wolf. Which is interesting.
It was a very interesting, socially complex story.
Yeah.
It just touches on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like you feel everything. You feel everything from empathy to envy to fear to I guess to some extent you feel joy in little things here and there. To like amazement at this like world that I never knew existed, where the Osage became the richest per capita like cultural group in the world. Like everything about it is it's just it's big. It's a big story.
Yeah, it's like probably similar to why a lot of people don't really know about like Black Wall Street and the Tulsa riots.
Oh yeah, right,
and they talk about that in this movie.
Spotlighted, yeah.
Which I'm not gonna. I didn't really know much about it until a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think just this year I like read up on that, and I can't remember what caused me to. And I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That like, I think in public school there was maybe some mention made of like the Tulsa bombings or something like that,
but nothing in any real detail.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, there's just so much you don't learn about.
And you would think these would be two stories that everybody would know because they're so grimy and so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's big stuff.
But yeah, do you think Ernest loved her?
I think he did, but I think he was like the little cracks he would make about I just love money. Like I think that was like so true. Like he didn't love any single human being, including himself, as much as he loved money. And, so it's like he loved her, but that had a limit.
Yeah, very much so. Well, it kind of shows like the like intensely how like the white characters don't really see the Osage as people or like people, because like the fact that he could look at Molly and still feel emotions for her, but then know everything happening behind, and like you see him hesitate a little bit, but then he always and this is why I call him weak, is because he always does it. He always he never pulls the trigger on anything. He's always the guy that tells the dude to do it.
Yeah.
And he's only ever pushed to do that when he's face to face with his uncle, who, I don't know, like it seems a little like fear, but also just complacency. I don't know. And
totally.
And then he put things into motion, and then like John David Washington, he doesn't see them as people.
Yeah, so true.
Like he sees the person he's looking at as a person, but not like the people that she cares for and she has feelings for.
Yep.
Crazy.
It really is. It really is crazy, and you wonder like how prevalent that sentiment must have been for like Americans in general for a long, long time, for some of the things to have happened that did happen. Yeah.
To an extent. I mean, it parallels today with like the like unsolved cases.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And like
There's
the government just doesn't care.
Yeah. Yep. There's just not enough done about it. Like not enough um notice taken
Mm-hmm.
of it. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy mixed up situation.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, what do you think of? I don't know. That's a lot of what I had.
Yeah, now I'm just like sitting here like sulking in thoughts of
Being
treacherous,
sad.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So the
Well,
movie also has a little bit of that effect.
yeah. It's very much a just revealing, but
Yeah,
it's not stuff that we didn't know.
true. And I think that I thought this movie was going to be a lot more depressing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like like not reluctant, like I was gonna watch it no matter what, but like I was kind of like afraid to go watch it because I just thought it was gonna be horrendously depressing. It
Yeah.
wound up not being as bad as I thought. Not that it was happy by any means,
Yeah.
but well told, I would say.
I think so, and it seemed a lot more ground like real. The deaths and like the killing and all that felt very intense.
Yeah, it did.
And less like bombastic compared to like his other mobster movies, where
Right,
like
like think The Departed versus this.
yeah,
Yeah,
or even The Irishman, where there's like
yeah,
explosions. Like
yeah.
the explosion in this is completely off screen, and
Right.
it's like you find out about it from like the boom, and then like the getting out of the house and crying and all that.
Yeah,
Like it's a very
yeah.
intense, grounded scene rather
It
than
is.
like bombastic.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
What did you think of like the radio theater ending?
I thought it was pretty good. It a little bit better than just having white text over a black screen.
Yeah, yeah. I was very entertained by it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes me wish I was like able to watch one of these productions live. You know, like
Yeah.
when they were a thing. That seems pretty cool. But I felt very weird about it being in this movie.
Mhm.
I just, and this is at the end of it already going on for way too long anyway. I was like, I don't know. It felt weird and clashy. Um, but yeah, if I separate it from the movie, I really liked the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that Scorsese did that last little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It,
It was interesting to see him on screen.
it was also interesting to hear like the. I mean, because when you hear those aftermaths, of course, it's very poignant that it was like Ernest got pardoned. What King got out. He didn't live for
Yeah.
very
After
long.
like 7 years or something, he got out.
Yeah, and then Molly died, and no
Yeah.
one ever talked about it again.
Yep.
And what?
It's
Oh,
crazy.
and the last line is something like and in her obituary, it didn't mention the murders,
That's right. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is kind of what the whole movie is about.
Mm-hmm.
I think the movie does try to like anchor onto Ernest's feelings, but that kind of it doesn't. It still doesn't completely work because by the time he starts poisoning his wife, like you start to feel less and less bad for him, which is probably the
Right.
point.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you definitely go from like standing right by him when he's like just getting in with this community at the beginning when his uncle's kind of showing him the ropes. You go from standing right by him to like being like, okay, it looks like his family's getting him mixed up in maybe some corruption and stuff, like questioning his judgment at that point, and then to when you know what's going on, just being like, oh, he's just despicable.
Yeah.
You like, yeah, you truly can't stand by him anymore.
Yeah.
But the movie does continue to try to make you feel things for him. You're right.
Yeah. Which I think works. Because when he first does the, like, I'm going to tell.
Right.
You're like, yeah, he's going to do it.
Uh-huh.
And then he says, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then you're
Right.
like, well, fuck.
Yeah. You idiot.
But then by the time he finally does it, it does feel hollow. But that's also when you're also, like, you're discovering with Molly, like, the true extent of everything that's happened. And
Right.
so when it comes to their last interaction and he lies again,
Right.
there's so much more weight behind it.
Totally.
And then you realize...
Sorry.
Go on.
No, what you were going to say was probably more relevant.
Oh, I was going to finish off that thought, and now it's gone. It's fleeting.
My bad.
You're trying.
I was just going to say that Brendan Fraser this must have been filming at the same time as The Whale. Or in the same time period, because Brendan Fraser did put on, even though he wore a suit, he did put on some weight from what I understand for that movie.
Yeah.
And he, in this movie, was significantly heavier than he is right now. So I think it was when they were filming The Whale or right around then as well. So this movie's been a long time in the making, which makes sense,
Yeah.
Huge.
Been forever.
Yeah.
He was intimidating in this. Like the few lines that he had.
Totally was, yeah.
I got a little tripped up because I couldn't remember his name. I was sitting there in my chair and I was thinking of just the name Brendan, but I couldn't find his last name.
Brendan of the Jungle.
Yeah, and then I saw John Lithgow and I couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his name, so now I was just obsessed with trying to think of who I could think of every character they played, but not them.
Yeah.
I hated it.
That's funny.
When they're...
Yeah.
I really like the stuff. I wish, like the stuff from the trailer, like in this picture, which one of them are wolves?
Right.
And then the whole movie is playing on that, like which character in it is a wolf, and it's like pretty much all of them. Like they're all in on it, every single person.
Totally. It's gnarly. It's a gnarly picture of that situation, and probably a very accurate picture.
Yeah.
Sad.
Really sad. A good scene was the one where they first bring over the insulin to the home, and then they fill it up, and then she said, and then they're talking in the Osage language.
Yeah.
And they don't have any subtitles, but then by the end of the conversation, you realize that she's saying like, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I want you to provide the medicine.
Right.
And maybe you don't realize that they tell you that, but like that whole scene was pretty good, especially like in the context of like now knowing where it goes and
Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, tons of good things to say about the movie. And I think the evidence of that is how much it leads me to want to learn about, think about, and talk about the actual real life story.
Yeah. It also makes me want to revisit like Silence and maybe try to watch The Irishman again.
Yeah. Wait, did Martin Scorsese do Silence?
Yeah.
How do I forget that?
Yeah.
That one feels so different for him.
It is. It seems that way. Well, I mean, 'cause,
that was a very good one too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this movie, like he just does a lot of mob type movies.
Yeah. Totally.
The cinematography was good.
It was. How about that scene where they're making fire breaks in the field and stuff like that, and you're just looking at them through the heat distortion coming off the fire. Like those were cool.
Gnarly. And that whole thing was because it would get him more insurance money.
Right, yeah.
Always thinking about the money, King. Always thinking about the money.
Dastardly guy.
Well, the movie was pretty good, dude.
It was.
Not did you 10 out of 10? Perfect. Best movie ever. Better than
I'd say
Goodfellas.
six Gran Turismos as well. Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, I think I did like it better than good. I think I liked it more than what I've liked of any of his other things that I've seen. And I've liked a lot of his movies. But yeah, I thought this was very, very, very good.
Hell yeah. Get him. And then he already has the next one, I think, that he's talked about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What you got, Martin?
Next films after will be The Wager, a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder.
Ooh, interesting.
The Wager focuses on British ship crew's journey for treasure, their subsequent stranding on a desert island, and the dramatic events that unfold upon their return.
Huh.
So it's going to be 3 hours long.
Naturally.
Uh-huh. It's going to be so good, dude.
I hope so.
And
he's producing Maestro, huh?
Is he?
Yeah. Has that one already come out yet?
No. I don't know if The Killer is going to get a release near us.
The Killer.
It's the new David Fincher movie.
Oh, interesting.
And I also couldn't see anything for Priscilla.
Okay.
The movie that might not be as kind to
Elvis.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Elvis was perfect. These people that are famous can never do anything wrong. Okay. I think we've Killers of the Flower Moon, pretty good.
Amen. Here. Go watch.
For next time, what are we gonna watch?
Yeah, what's coming out?
So we got Priscilla.
Okay.
The Marvels.
Oh yeah.
The Holdovers.
What's that?
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, the Christmas one?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
They stay over Christmas break.
I do want to see that.
Journey to Bethlehem with Antonio Banderas.
What? Is this a freaking nativity thing?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
This live-action Christmas musical adventure for the entire family. Well, I mean, it's probably something I'll end up watching, but I don't know if I feel like jumping into such corn, you know?
Yeah.
Christmas is great. Christian-themed productions made with money from people who are over the top, outwardly Christian are usually very, very bad. And it's because, for whatever reason, this is not a dig against Christianity at all. I dig Christianity, but people who are a certain type of unnecessarily loud Christian, they just have very bad taste in art. They just don't get it. And so the things that they
just like to make stale movies.
Bad. Yes, they do. And terrible music.
We could.
I don't know though. I should probably watch a trailer for this before assuming anything about it.
Yeah,
but like the fact that it's a musical, I'm like,
don't get too mean yet. Not until you've seen something.
Yeah.
But also, we also have, because technically the 17th is next week.
Okay.
The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
I actually do want to see that one.
Never seen any of the others.
Oh, they all suck.
Okay, so this one's gonna be bad.
You know what's funny is I think this might be the only good one out of all of them.
No, the trailers make it look so bad. It makes it look convoluted.
To me, it looked way more compelling than anything out of the other movies.
They just talk in riddles. Like, I don't know why people need to talk. What about Trolls Band Together, where Justin Timberlake reunites NSYNC, I think.
Oh my gosh, a new Trolls movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving themed horror
Oh
movie.
gosh. Ugh.
And next goal wins.
Oh yeah. That one, do you get the sense that that one's going to be a little underwhelming for a Taika Waititi movie? Like, it's just going to be kind of mildly funny.
Yeah. I hope it's good. It'll be one of a couple things, one of two Michael Fassbender returns.
Oh, yeah? What else?
He's also in The Killer, the David Fincher
Oh,
movie.
okay. Cool.
So there's also another Assassin movie coming out, but directed by...
Like Assassin's Creed movie?
No, just...
Oh, because Michael Fassbender was in an Assassin's Creed movie.
No, not that. It's called Hitman, and it's directed by Richard Linklater.
And it's not based on the Hitman video games, is it?
No.
Okay.
Professional killer Gary Johnson breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee an abusive husband and finds himself falling for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Glenn Powell. Okay.
But it is hard to pick on this one because I mean, next goal wins would be good.
I think
I could stomach the Marvels.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we should throw the Marvels in there because not only is it like gonna be relevant to public conversation in the coming weeks, it's also gonna provide just enough divisiveness for it to be an interesting conversation for us, because it is like the first Captain Marvel was one of those movies that had people who...
Oh, does that mean I have to watch the original one?
Probably not. Well, I just mean it had people reacting to it in highly divisive ways.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see.
I should probably watch it.
This one does the same thing.
Okay, so the Marvels. We got the Marvels.
Let's do it.
And then next goal wins.
Okay, I'm down.
And then I say Trolls Band Together or Thanksgiving. Or we do the Hunger Games. And I don't watch any of the other ones.
Okay.
You choose. Don't hate me. Which one's the bad option?
I mean, I want to watch Hunger Games, but what did you say is the trade-off?
I'm not going to watch the other ones.
Like, you only watch the Hunger Games?
Yeah, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Okay. No. We'll watch something else, and then I'll just watch the Hunger Games on my time.
You can still report back.
Yeah, I'll report back on it.
Trolls Band Together.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. And then, dude, it's getting crazy. The week after that, we've got Napoleon and Wish.
Oh!
And Dream Scenario, if you're into that crazy Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh, dude. Napoleon and Dream Scenario are two I'm really looking forward to.
I'm excited for Wish. And the week after that is Silent Night, which is... What was that movie? Christmas movie. John Woo. It's John Woo's new movie. That's
no way.
Godzilla -1. I doubt it'll be playing anywhere near us. Oh, you want to know what I did?
Is that a Toho movie or like a Netflix thing?
I think it's a Toho.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Japanese.
Nice.
Dude, you know what's fucked up? Dune 2's not coming out right now.
I know, and it could be because they're freaking... The Screen Actors Guild is like this close to like finalizing terms with whatever the IAM, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the movie guys.
The movie boys. And it's like if they strike a deal right now, it like would have been in time for the original release date.
Yeah.
That makes me sad.
It sucks. I'm really upset because I wanted to watch that movie like this week.
Yeah.
or whenever it comes out. Do you get to the theater early enough for trailers?
Sometimes.
Have you seen the trailer for Night Swim?
Oh yeah, I did just see that one when I went to see Freddy's for the second time.
Yeah. What'd you think? What do you think that movie's gonna be about?
Uh,
How many times can you go swimming at night before you realize you shouldn't anymore?
I was like, I'm digging through my brain trying to remember, but I feel like the first half of the trailer was intriguing to me, and then the second half that was just them in the pool the whole time being hunted by
the spirit
Gill Man. Yeah. That was weird.
She's just like wandering through they're playing Marco Polo, and he obviously left like 5 minutes ago. And she's still playing.
Uh-huh.
Like at some point you would know, like, I'm being played right now. And then
right.
Anyways, what about The Beekeeper?
The Beekeeper? I haven't heard of this.
It's Jason Statham's new movie.
Oh, no way. The Beekeeper, huh? Let's see here.
And it's David Ayer.
Of course it is.
It's a spy.
With Josh Hutcherson. No way.
Yeah, I don't remember him in it, but...
How interesting. Oh, this looks fun. I'm always down for Jason Statham.
I think David Ayer just kind of... He rubs me the wrong way just because of the Suicide Squad cut.
Understandably, yeah.
The Ayer cut.
So this was written by Kurt Wimmer, who is one of the... he's interesting because he's one of the unsung action movie writers in Hollywood who has had some majorly bad movies and a couple of really good ones.
He did Expendables.
Oh, did he?
Apparently.
Okay. Right.
He did the new Point Break, the new Total Recall.
That was like one of the abysmal ones for him.
He
wrote and directed Point Break.
The new one?
Yeah.
Is that one good?
He wrote and directed Equilibrium with Christian Bale.
Okay.
Which is it's the best version of like the Giver story. Like the
Giver,
story,
like the giving the emotions and
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the story in The Giver, like The Giver was probably the first one, but like it has become
it's a Groundhog Day
genre
situation.
Yeah. It's like its own genre sort of. And Equilibrium is like the best rendition I think within that genre in terms of movies. Okay. Yeah, it's very, very good. Oh, and he wrote Law Abiding Citizen, which was another good one.
I don't know that one either. I don't think I've seen any of his movies.
Okay.
So The Beekeeper's going to be good, is what you're saying.
I think so.
And then, what about Argyle with...
That's going to be fun.
Henry Cavill, I hope so.
Uh-huh.
His last movie, the guy who directs this in Kingsman, Matthew Vaughn. The previous Kingsman movie sucks so hard.
I know. It
was so boring.
It was such a disappointment because like I thought it was going to be real fun.
Yeah.
But everything about it just like tried too hard. And like the scene I think of when I think of that movie is him parachuting down onto the plateau and just how long that scene was and everything, like something goes wrong and then it's like, oh, okay, now it's all sorted out, and then something goes wrong and then something goes wrong, and it's like 6 layers of like, why couldn't he just parachute down onto the damn plateau? Like, why did it have to be a 20-minute thing, like drawn out way too much?
I honestly barely watched it after a while because it just got so boring and
yeah.
But Argyle, hopefully it's better. Hopefully it's more it's as fast paced as the first Kingsman.
Let's hope so.
Bob Marley, One Love. How about that?
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that. I'm gonna watch it, and I have hope for it. But I'll tell you what my worry is. It seems like whenever you have someone playing a larger than life person who has become like more of a god in our cultural mind than the person that they were in real life, it's real hard to like play them as the person. And like the best version of that I've seen so far was Austin Butler in Elvis. But you have like,
but the movie around him didn't help him.
Sure. Yeah. What was that one couple years ago about Tupac? Like, that's an example of where something like that goes bad. Where it's like,
all eyes on me.
All eyes on me. The movie I thought was fine, but it was, I could not for a moment like believe that this guy was Tupac.
Yeah.
And it was just because he was, again, it was just a guy who's a god in our minds and a person who is trying to split the difference between whatever the real version of him was and how we think of him. And you just can't do that in a movie. Like, you have to play the human person, like, entirely, because it's all those things they did in their life that created this image, you know, after they've passed on.
I realize that those movie, like, biopics, they always play the character, like, very similarly throughout, like, large portions of their life. But you're constantly, like, changing every day. I mean, that's just movie stuff. That's just movie things.
Sure. That's a very good point.
The Color Purple.
The Color Purple.
The remake.
I don't know this one.
Okay. Well, while you're looking it up, Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. And they only have one frame of Amber Heard in it. It looks so bad.
Oh my gosh, it looks so
You can definitely tell the studio is trying to fucking whatever.
Yeah. Why are they even still releasing this movie?
Right? Just get, like, come on, James Gunn.
Yeah.
Like, why did you cancel the Batgirl movie and not this?
I know. People actually wanted to see the Batgirl. What's weird is, like, Aquaman 2 will make more money than Batgirl ever had any hope of making. But that's just because of the mass numbers of people who don't watch movies, but who wind up at a movie theater on very rare occasion.
Yeah.
Like, they're not paying attention. They're not even going to know that an Aquaman 2 is coming out, but they're going to go to the theater and then see, oh, Aquaman 2, I'll see that one. That's where, like, 80% of ticket sales, at least in the U.S., are from non-movie watchers. That, like, and I'm making up numbers, but it's just like the people who just wind up there, you know? Whereas people like you and me who are, like, going to the movies because it's a way of life for us, and paying attention and being,
it's not
making choices and stuff. Yeah, like, we don't want to see that movie. We want to see Batgirl. Yeah. But that one's not going to make the money.
It's going to be useless.
Yeah.
American Fiction. I think I've seen this trailer. No. The Iron Claw, dude. We're almost done.
Oh, dude. I want to see that so bad.
Yeah.
That one's also going to be depressing.
The trailer?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Bunch of buff boys.
Totally.
Wonka.
Oh, funny that you list those back to back because Jeremy Allen White, the dude from The Bear, who's also in The Iron Claw, someone pointed out that he looks... No, he's not, but he looks exactly like Gene Wilder.
Oh,
like, he should have played young Willy Wonka instead of Timothée Chalamet.
I think they chose Timothée Chalamet for other reasons. Because he's popular.
Probably.
That's probably the only reason. Is just because he's... Because this guy, Jeremy Allen White, is like...
He's just coming onto the scene.
Yeah, well, newly popping. He's been around probably. He was on Shameless, right? Famously.
Oh, was he? Okay. I never watched Shameless.
Yeah.
Neither version.
Seems like everybody's from Shameless.
Huh.
Oh, he hasn't been on Shameless for very long, maybe. Anyways, dude, yeah, that movie looks great. I realize the trailer tells you the thing that happens in the movie, which I'm not going to say here. If you want to watch the trailer, you can. But
right.
And I was like, dude, that's a fucking spoiler. And then I realized it's real life. So if you
Yeah,
knew the
yeah.
story, you'd know it happened anyway.
Sure. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Reading up about those guys, it's
uh-huh.
just nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Oh, and then I found out what actually happened. Like I figured out the thing it didn't spoil, and I got more sad.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get
Yeah.
there. I'm excited
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I smell Oscars for that movie for sure.
I wish there was more wrestling movies, like The Wrestler.
We've got like three.
Yeah, The Wrestler, this, and give me a third. Oh,
Yeah.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon, true that, yeah. Yeah.
Sick. Well, I think we figured it out. Next time, we're gonna do Trolls, Next Goal Wins, and the Marvels. Even though
All
on
right.
previous episodes I've said I'll never watch another Marvel movie.
Sucker.
Fuck. Thanks for tuning in. What was your favorite out of FNAF and Killers of the Flower Moon? And if any of you are the other one, sick.
Yeah, you're wrong, but like sick.
Sick. Good night, homies.
Good night. Thanks for joining.